bringing not only some gusty wind, but as you can hear, some pretty significant hail too. So if you're just waking up and you're just popping on the Weather Channel, maybe it's part of your morning routine. If you live in Houston, don't get on the roadways right now. This one you need to take seriously because we have ground truth. There's confirmation of a large tornado on the ground. When a downburst happens, it's cold, dry air from the top of the storm that just shoots down to the ground, and then it shoots out in all directions. You get this divergent flow at the surface, and that's exactly what you're seeing there on radar. Just a textbook downburst signature. You can look at this as a meteorologist and say there's probably a tornado down, but with this newer radar product, at least pretty new over the last decade or so, it's called correlation coefficient. It basically shows us how similarly or dissimilarly shaped everything is in the air that's flying around. And in this case, you see these low values showing up, meaning there's a lot of stuff with different shapes and different sizes flying around. That's telling us that that's tornado debris. If you're looking for the part of the storm where these mammatus clouds form, they will generally form on the underside of the anvil of the thunderstorm. So kind of right in that region there. Tornado. A lot of the times you can even see stuff from far away. I mean, you can see downbursts, you can see that kind of stuff, but from far away, it doesn't look like it's that bad. It looks like it's moving really slow, but you know, when you're up close to it, that's like 70 miles an hour. Clear track of damage here through southern Minnesota, northern Iowa. You get into parts of Wisconsin, that's 510 miles. So definitely a derecho, no question. Sometimes you get that flash flood warning. The Weather Service puts it out because we've had a certain amount of rain in a certain amount of time, and we're not really 100% sure if there's going to be flooding, but it's kind of precautionary. This is not that situation. This is ongoing flooding. In this case, we've got the wind blowing from the land onto the water, and it's kind of meeting in the middle and creating these little vortices. This is the kicker. You've got to have three things that match up. You've got to have the base reflectivity being really high. You have to have the correlation coefficient being low, showing us that there's a lot of differently shaped stuff flying around, like tornado debris. But you've also got to have this couplet here. In this case, this is outflow from a storm, okay? So that's one big outflow boundary, the whole circle that you're seeing. It's also called a gust front sometimes. So you may have heard about this big derecho that we had, basically a long-lasting severe storm that created a ton of wind damage. It started up in western South Dakota, and it ended up actually out in the Midwest. This thing into motion, all right? Watch what happens with this storm. Watch how fast it blows up as the plane is flying in, all right? So the problem here is that this storm was pretty much at its full maturity, and they drove right into the hail core. The tornado, by the way, came from that direction, okay? It came diagonally through town toward the area behind me. Have a look at some of this incredible damage from a nasty, severe storm that happened in Wichita Falls, Texas. And you're probably looking at that damage saying, okay, this was obviously a tornado. The Weather Service is probably out there surveying it. They're going to tell us what it is on the EF scale. Well, I'm here to tell you that this was actually not a tornado. And the reason that I know that is from looking at the radar data. And I think it's pretty understandable to see some of these signatures. So I really wanted to share this with you guys. I think it's a really good learning experience that you can have when it comes to radar. So here's the storm itself. It was kind of a small storm, at least size-wise. Again, really nasty. Obviously, it had the really strong wind. It also had some hail and some very heavy rain. But this is what really tells the story when it comes to wind. This is called the velocity product, okay? And the way to read this is where you see the green colors, that's where the air is moving toward the radar. Where you see the red colors, that's where the air is moving away from the radar. And the more intense the colors are, the stronger the wind is, okay? In this case, the radar site was up toward the north-northwest, up in Frederick, Oklahoma. It was pretty close to where the storm was, so we had a pretty good view into the bottom of the storm. But watch what happens as I move this forward in time here as the storm approaches Wichita Falls. You notice that the greens start to intensify on the northwest side of the storm, and the reds start to intensify on the southeast side of the storm, okay? So right across from each other, you've got an intense area of wind that's moving toward the radar, and then you've got an intense area of wind that's moving away from the radar. That is what we call a downburst signature, okay? So let's take me on camera again real quick. When a downburst happens, it's cold, dry air from the top of the storm that just shoots down to the ground, and then it shoots out in all directions. You get this divergent flow at the surface, and that's exactly what you're seeing there on radar. Just a textbook downburst signature. I can tell you it's almost 100% certain that that wasn't a tornado. The Weather Service is still looking at that, so we'll find out exactly how strong the wind is, but I'm going to eyeball that at least over 90 miles an hour. All right, welcome back. We got another nice day underway here in the Tennessee Valley. A lot of sunshine so far. Had a few of those high, thin clouds. You can see those here on the visible satellite imagery, just some of that almost transparent stuff sitting right over us. Clouds do thicken up off toward our west, though, and all this stuff is headed our way. So expect at least more cloud cover in the afternoon than what we've had in the morning. And eventually we'll have a chance for a couple of isolated showers and maybe a few thunderstorms through northwest Alabama a little bit later on this afternoon. We're not expecting anything severe today, but as we get a little bit closer to Friday, that's when we'll have our chance for a couple of stronger storms. In the meantime, beautiful day. Again, some of those high, thin clouds, you can see them here at UAH looking out toward the east. This was a spectacular sunrise this morning, by the way, if you got a chance to see it. 71, the current temperature. A lot of spots above 70 right now, including Harvest, Tony at 73, Madison 74, 71 down at HSV. We've got 72 in Gurley. And over in Ripley, 72 also in Athens right now. It was a little bit cooler in northeast Alabama this morning. You guys were in the 40s, but already recovered to 72 in Hollywood, 70 degrees in Collinsville, Gunnersville at 70, up in Minor Hill in Tennessee, it is 69 degrees. So let's talk about this severe weather chance that we have coming up for very late Thursday into the early morning hours on Friday. First things first, tomorrow, off toward our west, not here in the Tennessee Valley, it's going to be a big severe weather day. We're talking Mississippi River Valley here between Memphis, Paducah, out toward parts of southern Missouri, almost all of Arkansas, where you see this red color. That's where the Storm Prediction Center has a moderate risk for severe weather out. All forms of severe weather will be possible out there, wind, tornadoes, hail, all that kind of stuff. That's going to be during the afternoon and evening tomorrow. Then that line of showers and storms is going to progress toward the east, and as it does so, starts to lose a little bit of strength. The severe threat's going to stay with us. The tornado threat's going to go down quite a bit. The hail threat's also going to go down. We're mainly looking at a damaging straight-line wind threat for areas west of I-65 especially. This will be after midnight again tomorrow night into the early morning hours on Friday. So let's visualize all that stuff. Let's go through the forecast model. We'll start you off with today. Again, temperatures up close to 80 once again. Clouds thicken up as we get a little bit deeper into the afternoon. Expect that we'll stay dry through about 3, 4, 5 o'clock. Then we get a little bit closer to 6 or so. We'll have a couple of those showers rolling through northwest Alabama. Things dry into the overnight after that stuff rolls through. Tomorrow morning starting off nice and mild in the 60s. We'll make a run at 80 once again tomorrow. Dry for most of the day. So here we are at 3 p.m. tomorrow. This is when the big storms will be firing well off toward our west. So we'll be watching that line as it comes in. Again, here we are. Couple hours after midnight here tomorrow night, showers and storms rolling into southern middle Tennessee, northwest Alabama out around the shoals, and then they'll progress from west to east across the region. So by 7 a.m. they're still rolling through. I'd say most of this stuff out of here by about midday on Friday. So is this a severe or a legitimate severe weather threat? Yeah, it definitely is. But it's not going to be a big severe weather day around here. We're not looking at a high threat for tornadoes. There may be an isolated spin up here or there, so we're going to watch the radar closely. But again, this will be pretty similar to the last couple events like that we've had, where we're not looking at violent long track tornadoes or anything like that. But still definitely something to take seriously, and we'll have a very close eye on it. The nice thing about this stuff coming through Friday, I've mentioned this, I'll be here during the morning show, so I'll be able to watch this and keep you updated. 80 for today, 79 tomorrow. Slight rain chance today, tomorrow. Better chance Friday morning. Half the weekend's dry on Saturday at 65. And then we got some more rain coming in by Sunday and Monday. Then it's going to cool off. Just briefly, then we'll warm up. Green's moving toward the radar, red moving away from the radar. So you've got a counterclockwise circulation there. BTI is 4.8, but you know, at this point BTI doesn't matter because we have ground confirmation that there is a tornado on the ground with this system. It's, again, tough to tell how strong it is, tough to tell how long it's going to last. We don't know exactly what the effects are going to be. What we do know is that if you're in the path of the storm, you do need to be in your tornado shelter right now. Again, nobody should be driving along Highway 72 right now between Rogersville and Blackburn. This is a confirmed tornado. It's on the ground if you're just joining us. So you need to take this very seriously. I know a lot of the times we get these tornado warnings and you kind of think, oh, nothing ever happens. I don't need to take them seriously. This one you need to take seriously because we have ground truth. There's confirmation of a large tornado on the ground. And of course you're going to be hearing the tornado siren because the fire station with the tornado siren is right across the street from us. So don't let that put you on edge. I know after some of the events that we've been through here, you hear that tornado siren, it can be a little bit scary. So again, we need you to take your tornado precaution. But I would not be surprised if Athens ends up under this tornado warning. And I'll tell you what, you guys are close enough, and this isn't intensive enough of a rotation. I know Athens is a very heavily populated area here in the region. I want you to take your tornado shelter right now if you live in the city of Athens. What we have is a confirmation of a large tornado on the ground. So this is no longer a radar-based warning. This isn't just one of those, little spin-up warnings that we get that we don't really know if there's a tornado on the ground or not. There is confirmation of a tornado on the ground. So if you live anywhere in this red box, I need you in your tornado shelter right now. This may end up being a long-track tornado. Of course, it's too early to tell for sure, but just kind of given the history of the storm system and the fact that we've already had several long-track tornadoes between yesterday and today, and this one's very tightly wrapped up. And this is what they've been doing. They wrap up really quickly. It goes from a broad rotation to a really tight rotation really fast. And all of a sudden, we've got a report of a big tornado on the ground.
Ari.
Okay, let's take a little bit of a wide view. I just want to give people kind of an overview of everything that's going on right now. We have 3 active tornado warnings here in the Tennessee Valley right now. The first one was for the Athens area, and that moved now into northwestern Madison County. The rotation is weakened significantly with it, but we still need you in your tornado shelter in Tony and Harvest. It's going over Tony right now. It's going to continue toward the north and east toward Meridianville. We also have a tornado warning for a confirmed tornado west-northwest parts of Marion County. This is west of Hamilton, moving directly toward Hackleburg and Phil Campbell. It's going to move pretty much right up along Highway 43. It's a little bit tough to tell. The strength of the tornado didn't look too impressive on the velocity imagery, but we do have ground for confirmation of that tornado. This is the newest tornado warning that we have. Again, the red box is here, what we're paying attention to, and this one's going to be coming in out of, I don't know if does this include a chunk of Lauderdale and Colbert, or is it just
It's just for Limestone.
Okay, so this is just straight up Limestone County, and boy, this is a very similar path to the one that just went through. So let's take a look at the velocities on these, and yeah, that's wrapped up pretty well. We'll see what it does over the next couple of scans. At this point, doesn't look quite as bad as the last system that went through, but you're seeing a lot of very familiar town names that we just went over not too long ago, because this storm is almost going to take the exact same path as the last one that came through. So again, you've already gotten some practice being in your tornado shelter. We want you to do that again. Again, if you live anywhere in this new tornado warning, that does include the city of Athens. Once again, I know that's a very populated area. We've been asking a lot of you today, but it looks like at least the west side of town may have taken a pretty good hit earlier as far as that last tornado that went through, and that one was definitely a tornado. We could see it on radar. This one, we can't confirm it yet based on radar. Do we have any ground confirmation of this one, guys?
Not yet.
Okay, so we do not have any ground confirmation. Right now, this is a radar-based warning, and I think this is smart by the Weather Service, because what these storms have been doing today is they've been spinning up really fast. Just almost within 5 or 10 minutes, they go from almost nothing to a very impressive signature, and just as fast as they spin up, they actually kind of weaken just as fast, and that was good news for the Harvest and Tony area, because you guys likely didn't get hit as bad as areas around Athens and just west of there when that first storm came through earlier. So right now, again, we do not have confirmation of a tornado on the ground with this storm that is in Limestone County, but it is going to take a similar path to the last one that came through. So again, Highway 72 east of Rogersville. This does not include the city of Rogersville. This does include the community of Blackburn, Athens, Shanghai, places like that were already affected a little bit earlier. Elkmont, you guys are in this new tornado warning as well. And you can see things wrapped up pretty well here. A little bit tough to see if there's a really good hook echo on that one with a debris signature, but at this point it does not appear likely. Let's take a peek at this Harvest storm one more time.
Yeah, Ari, I was just going to pass along. The Weather Service has now reissued the tornado warning.